So it's the new normal now. But I want to say that in any journey of entrepreneurship, career, it's so important to have the support of people around us. And I want to actually pay tribute to not just the women, but also the men who have been there, standing by us, sometimes silently, sometimes encouraging. It could be our fathers, brothers, husbands, friends, strangers sometimes, bosses. Many people, men and women have played an important part in that journey. Someone who tells you how to do things the first time. Sit like this, don't sit like that. Talk like this, don't talk like that. Right? Very little things. Go and meet this one. It's important to go and say hello to them. Everybody is familiar with that. All of you are entrepreneurs. And I also want to say that I met some of you downstairs. And I want to congratulate IIW in continuing to inspire women, bring them together and grow this network so beautifully. I've seen IIW since I think it was a baby, right? So I'm just, I don't think there's any year that I've missed out on any programs. Even if I've been late sometimes, I've managed to make it. So it's fascinating, it's really humbling. I'm grateful to all of the people who have supported us. That's Manju Lodha ji. Another great woman. Welcome. So before I delay you further, I want to introduce two of my dear friends, but I think I'll leave it to them. Chandni Vora and Raga De Silva. Both are fantastic women with completely amazing journeys of entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? Is the spirit of taking that risk, doing something amazing in your life. And it could be business, it could be a talent, it could be, just taking a stand, really. That also takes an enterprising spirit. So it's your spirit that I think is important to pay salute to and to pay tribute to today as we discuss journeys of two fantastic career women. Chandni, if I could request you first, whether you want to stand or you want to sit down and talk, is up to you. Yeah. So Chandni Vora is a dear friend and she's worked in the construction industry, in aerospace, defense. She'll tell us about it. It's very fascinating, very typically male-oriented, male-centric career streams. Chandni, please.
Lakshmi, that was a really deep introduction, so thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and the Confederation of Indian Association. Very proud to be Indian. I have to say, this is the plug. This was 2006 renovation by Vascroft, who I'm employed with, so it's a privilege to be speaking on this stage. You wanted me to share my journey of how I got to where I am, and what sort of who's guided me, what have been the barriers and what have been the challenges. So I think as I said before, my background is in accountancy. I'm a chartered management accountant. For 23 years I've been working since I graduated, and I started my career with one of the first Indian projects, I have to say, with Bechtel Engineering, which many of you may know, the Reliance Jamnagar refinery. I was just talking to Raga at the back, saying that I got to meet Dhirubhai Ambani, who is like a phenomenal entrepreneur in his own right. And when I said to my father I've got a graduate program with them, he was like, "Oh wow, that's a good construction company to work for." Had no aspirations to join the family business. Let me make that clear. But I think the journey over the 15 years before joining Vascroft has been a challenge. I'm able to utilise my transferable project management skills, process improvements throughout my career, and I've just made myself authentic when I'm actually in the place of work. I think what I really found that in construction, engineering, whether it was with in the early years of when you're 22, graduated, and you're faced with people who've got 30, 40 years experience in front of you, and you're trying to negotiate ways of working practices or improving processes, etc. How do you come across that when the room is full of men and there's just you? And we are now, at that time, I'm saying 1999, there was not that many people from the Asian diaspora at sort of graduate levels going into reputable companies that will give you opportunities to grow with what you've learned in your career. In your degree, and put it to practice. What I found, and I was always faced with, that I had to get the right balance of being assertive. I had to get my point across, deliver my views effectively without being too cutthroat or bullish. I didn't feel I should be a man in front of others. I should be who I am, celebrate that I'm actually a woman. And I think what I found is, like, for the last 12 years I've joined Glasgow, but previous to that I've learned so many skills of how to be that pragmatic person. I definitely believe that my gender shouldn't really make a difference, but it has proven me wrong at times. Being in this industry has brought its challenges. I don't believe that, like I said earlier, that women should try to be men. We've just got to be us, and we should bring our personal attributes and our professional attributes to the workplace. I think I've learned over the years, and I think before joining the business and being part of the corporate world, of actually learning to listen and collaborate. That's been a learning curve, because as women we're always like, no, you've got to do this way, it can't be done that way. And no, my way is the right way. It's not always the right way. You know, we've got to step back and put ourselves into the shoes of those people that are in front of us. And I think, I think life experience are really our best learning tools. In the moment we kind of feel this situation, how do I overcome a hurdle of getting my point across? If I need to tell an engineer, your budgets are really out of place, how do you tell them that actually the finances doesn't work, but for them to think all they're concerned about is, well, I need to get the project delivered, I don't really care about your budgets. It's more about of not creating. In that moment, you would feel quite negative, you feel quite small, and you feel like, I'm not being heard, I'm not being listened. Hone back into the way you would want to speak. I'm a great believer, your Vani, as they say in Gujarat, your tone and your deliverance of how you want to communicate is really important. Whether you're an entrepreneur or just in a corporate role, I've learned that, in the moment something does feel negative, that something positive will come out of it, because we only learn from past experiences. Isn't that what our direct principles are, Our lessons are what we're going to be growing on and progressing. There was, you mentioned a particular point where you said, call yourself out, or, where you feel something's not right, or bring somebody up. And I'll share this experience within our own business. We had yes, we are predominantly male dominated. We do have a number of female people in our business. And there was one particular QS that joined us as an actuarist, as a document control manager, purely because she couldn't get a role in actuary. We felt we can give her the opportunity, get some experience in your CV, and maybe move on. We embrace training, we embrace progression of individuals that join our firm. And actually, I was in a meeting with her line manager, who was a male surveyor, and she was really adamant, a very clever person. Actuary is not a job, a degree that anyone can do. You've got to be a mathematician to be doing that. So we knew that she had the skills of drive, ambition to go forward. There's her line manager telling her in the meeting, oh, you can't do a master's in quantity surveying. You have no clue. You've got no construction experience. You've got no site experience. How are you going to do this? I had to put my hand up there for a minute. I said, this girl has figured out a way. She's not going to compromise on her time in the office. She wants to do it distance learning, and she's doing it on her own accord. It's an ambition she has. I felt it was the right place to step up and actually support her at that point. Lo and behold, 2 years later, she comes up with a distinction in masters. And that surveyor had to, what's the term? Bite your teeth, or, and say, I shouldn't have really said that. Bite the tongue. Sorry. As you can say, I can't get the acronyms right. But and that's really important, because if I had not done that, she may have walked away from that room thinking there's no one to support me. There's no one to actually take me further in life. I've got an ambition to go somewhere. And now she's actually out in Australia.